is Becky Kreminga. I'm with Real Estate IQ, and I'm here today to talk to you about finding profitable off-market deals. And so what is the biggest problem for an investor, especially a new one's just starting out? Well, if you're like me, your biggest problem is finding the deal. And so today I'm going to talk about why off-market deals is a great way to find them. So first of all, MLS deals would be the opposite of off-market. They would be on-market. And there's some good things about finding properties off or on the market as well. One is that there's lots of deals available. There's an occasional deep discount. They are there. I have made money on MLS properties in the past. The next one is that they are ready for purchase. The seller wants to sell. They've already decided they're going to sell, so you don't have to talk them into it or anything like that. A couple of the cons to off-market deals. One is that there's high competition. A lot of people going after those, and so because of that, you need to be really fast to win. So off-market leads, on the other hand, there's usually going to be a lot less competition. And so because of that, you can get them at a deeper discount. And another of those good reasons is that you're negotiating directly with the seller. You don't have that real estate agent as a middleman telling the homeowner they can get more or whatever the case may be. Some of the cons to off-market leads is they might be harder to find. The owner might not be ready to sell, or they might, and it might need more advanced skills. So for example, with the contracts, if you're looking on the market, the real estate agent is going to have that contract and do all that work for you. You're going to have to do that yourself for an off-market deal. So there's three main ways to find off-market deals. The first one is to find and contact motivated sellers. The second is to market for the sellers to contact you. And the third is to buy from a wholesaler. I'm going to focus mainly on number one today. So how do you find motivated sellers? The main way that a lot of people get started is just driving for dollars. So that means you're just driving around, you're looking for those properties that might be really overgrown. Maybe there's a tarp on the roof and it's in disrepair. And what that means is that the person can't afford to fix it up and take care of the place, or maybe it's vacant. Either way, that's good motivation for the owner to sell to you. Another way is to hire a bird dog. A bird dog is just a person who goes and does the driving for dollars for you, for example. And they would send you this address, and then usually that's done on sort of a commission rate, or you just pay them a fee if you get the deal. And the third way is to get lists. So you don't have to drive around. You can get those properties, the information sent to you in lists, and you can just start contacting the sellers. So the first list that a lot of people work is the pre-foreclosure list. So that means the house is going to be sold at auction unless the homeowner does something about it sooner. And so that's usually pretty good motivation. You can save their credit that way, and you've probably heard about that. If not, that's, pretty easy to get educated about working the pre-foreclosure list. The next is the appointment of substitute trustee list, or also lis pendens, depending on the state that you're in. And that's kind of the pre-foreclosure. That's the advance notification that it's going to that. You can go to the foreclosure auction and buy a property. That's still considered off-market. You just have to make sure you do your due diligence on that ahead of time. The tax sale or sheriff's sale. So if there was usually a tax lien on the house, or sometimes another lien, and it's being sold. But back to trying to get them before the auction, divorces. Oftentimes in a divorce, the property has to be sold so that the two parties can split the proceeds or something like that. So they're often motivated sellers. Eviction filings. I think we're going to see a lot of those as the moratorium on evictions due to COVID comes to an end. So those landlords that have not been getting rent might be very ready to sell, or if they've had other problems with tenants and are trying to evict them. Tax or mortgage delinquencies. So they're not quite in the foreclosure process yet, but they're late on their payments, so it will be coming. Another one is probate leads. So if you inherit a house, then oftentimes, you're going to have to start paying taxes on that. And if you don't have any emotional ties to the house, which is a nice thing about a lot of probate leads, somebody just gets a house, it's in another city or state sometimes. And so they're very motivated to get rid of it. Properties with liens against the house, mechanics liens, hospital liens, HOA liens, those are all indications that there's financial distress, and they may think they can't sell the house because there's a lien. Whereas you as an investor know that you can just help get those off and taken care of. Code violations, that's kind of like driving for dollars without the driving part. There are substandard structures, tall grass citations, the same kind of things you look for in driving for dollars, but here you have the list. Properties with water service recently shut off is another one. That means that, there's financial trouble, they moved away, one of those kind of things. So there's all those different kinds of lists that you can buy. Other ways to find motivated sellers, hand out business cards, let people know what you do. And all of this comes from letting people know what you do and what you're looking for. Because you may not know somebody who needs to sell their house, but a friend of yours might have a friend who needs to sell their house, maybe a job change, they need cash to cover medical bills, maybe they're behind on mortgage payments, any of those reasons. So if you've got the money, paid advertising, billboards, radio ads, those work, or something simpler as making a t-shirt that says I buy houses and wearing it around town, or getting a magnet on your car. I know people that have gotten them that way, as well as bandit signs work that way too. There's a lot you can do on your computer. You can go to Craigslist, you can post ads, or you can search properties that are for sale by owner and contact the seller. You can do that using Zillow and other sites as well. You can have a website that you drive traffic to using pay-per-click, social media, all kinds of those things. You can go to online auction sites like Hubzu and auction.com and buy properties there. But whatever you do, remember that the deals are in the follow-up. You can't just contact the sellers once and, contact 20 sellers and expect to get a deal. You have to contact 100 sellers and you have to contact them 4 or 5 times, maybe even in different ways. But the key is that they keep seeing your name, and the follow-up is where you're going to get a lot of your deals. Real Estate IQ has many of those lists that I just talked about, and you can try our premium service for 14 days for just $1. Our premium service is not only going to give you the off-market list that you can market to, but it's also going to include skip tracing information, so phone numbers and email addresses for many of those leads. So go to realestateiq.co/UT clubs and enter promo code UVREA1 to take advantage of that trial. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Becky@realestateiq.co or 832-559-2282, and you can call or text me there. Thanks and have a good night.